Still watching Nile TV International, dear viewers, hello and welcome to this special edition and our continued coverage of the first ever Egypt-EU summit. With us now over the phone is Mr. Ahmed Khattab, the political analyst. A very good evening to you, Mr. Khattab. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening to all of you and all of you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Khattab. Now, sir, how did you see the importance, the significance, and the timing of President Assisi's visit to Belgium and the first ever Egypt-EU summit, building on the comprehensive strategic partnership between Egypt and the EU reached in Cairo in March of 24?
Yes, first of all, this is a wonderful EU-Egypt Summit 22 of October 2025. The summit agenda highlights in very effective points. The first ever EU-Egypt Summit will take place in Brussels in 22 of October. President of Sisi participated in this summit with President of European Council, Antonio Costa, and the President of European Commission, Mr. Von der Leyen, representative of EU, and will meet Egyptian President Sisi today. Egypt is a key strategic partner in view of its geographic location and the major stability and stabilizing role in play in the Middle East region, especially after Egypt hosting the summit with attendance of President Trump in order to solve Gaza and Israel crisis. So the second very important summit today held, and our first bilateral summit will be an excellent opportunity to further deepen our partnership cooperation in addressing our common challenge and unleash the full potential of our relationship. The focus of the summit will be on bilateral relations and on further deepening the political and economic partnership with the aim of fostering the party shared stability, peace and prosperity in the area. The leader will also discuss today global challenges, including the situation in Middle East, Ukraine and Russia crisis, and also a lot of trade and economic points in the area, added to trade and migration and security also. EU-Egypt cooperation in 2024, and the EU and Egypt signed the strategic and comprehensive partnership that further and elevates their relationship. The partnership focuses on 6 pillars: political relations, economic stability, trade and investment, migration and mobility, security, demographic and human capital. This is the main pillar in the summit. The strategic and comprehensive partnership between EU and Egypt is combined by a financial and investment package by 7.4 billion euro for 2024 until 2027. Trade is very important pillar also in the summit agenda. The EU-Egypt Association Agreement has been in force since 2004, and it creates a free trade area between the EU and Egypt by removing tariffs on industrial products and making agricultural products easier to trade. In 2024, the EU was Egypt's top trading partner in goods, according to, accounted for 22% of the Egypt trade in goods between the EU and Egypt was worth 32.5 billion, with 12.6 billion worth of import and 19.9 billion worth of export. And this is a huge amount of mutual trade between EU and Egypt. EU-Egypt relations, facts and the figures. Also in the marking of the summit, the high level of event implementing the EU-Egypt strategic and comprehensive partnership, accelerating strategic investment, industrial transformation and innovation, will bring together top political and business leaders, financial institutions, industry, associations, and business pioneers from both the EU and Egypt on 2020 to October in Brussels, with a view to implementing and advancing the EU-Egypt partnership forward-looking agenda and setting the stage for a more resilient and competitive and innovation-driven EU-Egypt future. I think this summit is a very effective tool, especially business cities send a positive message about economic reform take place and send a positive message about Egypt's implementation of tax law and investment law in order to be more attractive for accepting more foreign direct investment, especially from EU. I think the strategic relation between the two countries will reflect 100% to the economic situation, especially after the stability in Middle East and the plan for new generation in New Suez Canal Corridor, logistics area and the Suez Canal Corridor, and a lot of trade will be moved from Egypt to all over the world from the Middle East. Egypt play a very key role not only in Africa but also in Middle East, and the EU know 100% the very effective role of Egypt economically and politically, especially after the last posting of Sharm el-Sheikh meeting attended by a lot of presidents from all over the world. I think Egypt today is very strong economically, very stable politically, and this is will reflect 100% to the growing rate of the economy and reducing the inflation rate, especially after we have more surplus foreign currency from US dollar rated for this time to 50 billion US dollars. Business city in all meetings attended and the president in Europe take a lot of Egyptian businessmen also have already a great relation with the Europe businessman, and the two leaders supporting the mutual trade between the two countries and attracted more foreign direct investment from Egypt, and this is the time to start to a lot of mega projects between Egypt and EU. Added to this, also the file of education and the higher education is added value. A lot of agreement between Minister of Higher Education in Egypt and a lot of education institutions from EU also approved in order to support the scientific research in Egypt. And in Egypt already we have EU university, and we have a lot of combination in this file. So a file of education is highlighted in also this summit, and the Minister of Higher Education in Egypt, I think, approved a memorandum of agreement in this summit also. So today it is another successful business season in the same month, the month of October, because we have two very important summits, one in Sharm el-Sheikh and today one in Brussels.
Yes, Mr. Khattab, 1 second and final question. And of course, all of what you mentioned will be built upon in the 2026 summit in this upcoming year's Egypt-EU summit that will be held here in Egypt. Political coordination, expansion of trade and investment, and people-to-people partnership. With these three specific elements, what about the Egyptian-Belgian relationship that has advanced greatly and continues to advance? Earlier on Thursday, His Majesty King Philip of Belgium received President Sisi, and they talked about political coordination on many issues, including Gaza, and of course also economic cooperation, and also people-to-people partnership, something that was highlighted in a big way in the Egypt-EU summit.
Yes, in all summits like EU-Egypt summit held in 2024 and the coming summit it will be in 2026, I think a lot of B2B meetings between the businessmen from the two countries take place in order to increase the volume and size of investment, and this is the main goal of all summits. One goal, political relationship to be strong, others economic stability to be more stable, and trade and investment increasing as a value. Also migration and mobility, also very effective, and national security is also already added value to the two countries. A strategic and a comprehensive partnership between Egypt and the EU. This is adds value to also the Egyptian economy by 7.4 billion euro, and this is we aim in the future to increase this amount until reach 10 billion euro in 2026. This is also one of main goals for Egypt. So EU-Egypt association and agreement also in all fields should take place in field of education, in field of trade, in field of economic, political, and this is also our aim in the future. So I think B2B between the businessman and scientific research and the people meeting will be add value because it's open new kind of cooperation and increase the time and trade between the two countries and strong the bilateral relation between the two countries. And thank you to President Sisi for playing very effective role in leading Egypt to be worldwide country dealing with a lot of countries. President Sisi make a strategic relation with China, strategic relation with America, the strategic relation with EU. So this is will be add value. And thank you to Prime Minister of Foreign Trade, the Ambassador Badr Abdelati, for strengthening the bilateral relation between the two countries, Egypt and the EU. It's a historical relation and reflected 100% to the Egyptian economy, and in the future we gain more and more.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed Khattab, the political analyst, for your time and your insight, sir. And dear viewers, don't go far, as we will continue our coverage of the first ever Egypt-EU summit shortly here on Nile TV.